Hi everybody, Sarah Brennison here with Tupperware, and I'm here to teach you today how to make a state fair inspired donuts. They're not the mini kind, they are the normal kind, but they are just as delicious. This is a recipe my husband created. It reminds me a lot of, like the Tiny Tim kind of recipe that you'll see at the Minnesota Great Get Together, otherwise known as our state fair. So what we're going to be using is our ring mold, and what makes our silicone molds a little different than most is they are food safe 100% through. They are cured for 4 hours before they actually are done with the creation process. And what that curing does is I can go ahead and I can roll this up into a little ball, put it into a very small space, and whenever I need it, it unwraps and it retains its space. That's what the curing does. Now, what's neat about our silicone molds is all of them are freezer safe, they are microwave safe, and they are oven safe. Now, a helpful tip if you're going to be moving it into the microwave is to have the mold on a flat surface like a cutting mat or a plate, so it's easy to transport in because they're kind of wobbly is a good way to put it. You can put this right onto the rack of your oven as well. You don't have to have a cookie sheet underneath it too. A neat tip to do in the hot summer months is you could, if you're having iced tea or cold brew coffee or punch, you could put a little bit of that into this ring mold, throw it into the freezer, and then put this into your glass so that it melts whatever it is you're drinking. So if you have cold brew in here and you put in your cold brew, it's just going to keep your cold brew cold while you're having it. So what the recipe is it features our flour or sugar. I keep mine in my Modulamate so that all the pests stay out of it and it stays fresher longer. It has cinnamon in our cinnamon and sugar blend. A helpful tip, if you don't drink buttermilk, you can get this cultured buttermilk blend in your baking aisle. It's a dry mixture that once you open it, you just leave it in your fridge, and then the buttermilk the recipe calls for is already in there. If you want this recipe in its entirety, comment below with the word recipe and we will send it to you. If you would rather get updates bi-monthly too, this is the recipe that's included in our newsletter, and just type newsletter and we'll get you that information too. So it starts with making your batter, and I have the batter in a Junior That's a bowl. I love this bowl. This is something that only our hosts can get with as little as a $200 event, and they get that for free, by the way. You then take, and it's about 3 teaspoons of the mixture, this dough mixture, in each mold. Now you're noticing that I'm using a spoon. I don't have a piping bag or anything like that because that's what we have in our kitchen. So when you make a mess like this, the nice thing to have handy is a spatula, because you can just kind of push it back into the mold. You want to have them be about 3/4 of the way high, and you're going to want to do all 6 at once. Now, through the magic of television, I already have 6 done for us. And these, once you fill them up in the mold, only take about 2 to 3 minutes to make. So this is how they look when they're done. You can tell that some of them are a little bit more full than others. And all you do is you flip it over and they pop right out. The last step for any good State Fair donut is the cinnamon and sugar mixture. And what to do for that is you take your micro pitcher and you put 1/4 cup of butter into it. I like to then use a shallow dish, so I'm just using my medium Bent and Serve shallow. And I have my cinnamon and sugar mixture in the same. You take the donut while it's still a little bit warm, and you just lightly dip it into the butter, like so. And then you tap it a little bit on top, so it's like that. And then this State Fair donut is ready to be eaten. I'm really glad that my children are not in this room right now because I wouldn't be able to eat this because it's just so good. So my question to you is, What is your favorite thing to eat your donuts with? Is it coffee? Is it just the donut by itself? Remember, if you want the recipe, comment recipe please, and if you'd like to get on our newsletter, please comment newsletter below. Can't wait to read your responses.